What's going on, legend? How are we? And welcome to week 34. 34, fuck yes. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of micronutrients and fiber to ensure that you are delivering enough vitamins and minerals and nutrients, aka micronutrients, into your system to set you up to be as best healthy as possible as you go about continuing the process of flexible dieting and making gains throughout the rest of your Alpha coaching journey, and to set you up for the most healthiest and awesome relationship with food possible long into the future. So we're going to be rocking along with our lovely old mate iPad just now. I'm going to be sharing some epic insight here visually so you can associate to the learnings that extra bit better. So we're going to kick off with I guess breaking down essentially what fiber is, right? And if I flip you guys down here, and there we go. So it's important to understand that fiber is basically, it's the structure. We're going to just draw a broccoli because this is what I think of for some reason when I think of fiber, right? So fiber is basically it's the structural component, of what makes up a plant, right? So in other words, if we aren't eating plants, well then we're definitely not going to be getting in enough fiber, right? Or what makes up a plant. Awesome. And there's two types of fibers, right? There's basically the soluble fiber type, soluble fiber, and then there's the insoluble fiber. All right, now the difference here is basically with soluble fiber, this is the sort of fiber that will, so if we can imagine like a box, right, and the box gets so the box will represent the fiber from some food, right? So if we hit that food with some water, for example, right, or something of similar within the stomach and within the bloodstream and whatever, right, as soon as that fiber gets hit with that, it's as if the fiber will then convert into a gel-like sort of substance. It's still fiber, but yeah, that's basically what happens. So it's like the soluble version, right? And then if we've got insoluble fiber, what basically happens is it's like if that structure of fiber gets hit with water or anything else, it will still keep its structure consistently as it passes throughout the body, all right? Now, when it comes to eating fiber, right, basically on a daily perspective, the main key benefits of eating enough fiber is that it's going to help to lower cholesterol. So lower cholesterol, awesome. And as you probably learned, like, cholesterol is an interesting thing. You know what I mean? There's still people that believe to this day that eating eggs will raise your cholesterol and fuck you up. So, you know what I mean? It does help to control your weight, meaning that if you say, for example, hitting your targets in terms of your calories and your macros and stuff like that, but you're not getting in any fiber, good luck trying to ensure that you're losing body weight, because it's just going to fuck with your system, which we'll talk some more about shortly. It ensures that you are snapping timber regularly, and if you're not familiar of what that phrase basically means, I'm just going to draw this, and that should help you to kind of understand. There we go. So yeah, basically ensures that you don't ever have constipation, let's just say that, right? It's going to help you to remove toxins from the body as well, because obviously what happens is it's like there's to a degree certain toxins and stuff in some of the food that we eat, and if we're not careful and if we're not getting enough fiber, those toxins can actually gather and build in the bloodstream and in the stomach, right, which is something you need to be wary of. And it also helps to control appetite levels as well. Now, this is something that I particularly like to focus on when someone's been in a calorie deficit, for ages, right? Not necessarily for ages, but just like more ongoing, we start to get more hungry, right? And then as we get more hungry, we want to feel more satiated. So the ways that we can achieve better satiation while maximizing current amount of calories is by increasing protein, because protein is obviously something that obviously delivers certain micronutrients and certain amino acids to the muscles, right? But it's basically something that also helps to contribute to our fullness, just like increasing fiber intake does as well, helps to keep us more satiated, right? Now, foods that you can basically be eating to ensure that you're getting in enough fiber, right? If you can just imagine, include fruits, right? Dealing with their skin on, that sort of thing. Vegetables, same sort of deal. You want to make sure that you're having a nice mixture of cooked and raw fruits and vegetables, right? Not necessarily that you're going to really too commonly cook fruit, but you see what I mean? So we've got fruits, we've got vegetables, whole grains, right? However the sauce is, whether that comes in bread or whole grain, fucking waffles or oats or whatever, right? So whole grains. Same for pasta as well. Whole grain pasta will really contribute to getting in some solid fiber. Legumes, beans, that sort of thing, right? Nuts can also help as well, and also seeds, right? So these sort of things, you know what I mean? Like we've all got preference in terms of the sort of foods that we like to eat. So it's about having that mixture that, works well with you. So basically, like if you can imagine when it comes to, like I've drawn this a few times over, but we'll do it again. So it's like, this is your stomach, right? This is your bloodstream. And then you've got, obviously, you know what I mean, like the game that is getting those nutrients and stuff and the glucose and stuff to cells, right? So basically what happens is that sufficient fiber will slow down the rate at which your body absorbs, you know what I mean, the glucose from all the food that you're eating, right? Obviously food comes in, you know what I mean, it comes in, you've got lovely food and stuff like that sitting here from all the stuff that you're eating. Your stomach acid, all that sort of gear breaks it down, right? And then ta-da, it enters into the bloodstream as glucose ready to be used by, by the cells and stuff like that. And your pancreas is sitting here creating insulin and stuff, so that those nutrients can be transported to muscle cells and to organs and stuff to be used effectively, right? So by basically making sure that you're getting in sufficient fiber, it helps to slow down the rate at which this happens, so that way everything else can come into par effectively to make sure that those nutrients are best maximized. But what it also means is that you're feeling fuller for longer because of this, right? And naturally, the fuller that we're feeling, right, the less likelihood we are to YOLO on our intake or anything like that. And it means that, you know what I mean, it also best sets up your intestines to maximize the gains properly as well, especially if you've got a good mix between that insoluble / normal soluble fiber, right? Because obviously, like, they're two different types of fiber in terms of what they do. As you would remember before, we've got the one that is broken down more effectively. That when it gets hit with water, the soluble to the sort of type, it breaks down into that gel-like consistency, right? Then you've got the insoluble, which basically stays as a whole to an extent as it passes through, your system, right? Now, obviously with yourself, right, if you're not getting in enough fiber, well, then what's going to happen is that you will have no chance at getting in sufficient vitamins and minerals, right? Obviously, as you are eating different fruits and vegetables and all that sort of stuff, you're going to be getting in a whole array of both vitamins and minerals. Now, why people get severely sick or develop lifestyle-related diseases is that there's a big deficiency at both of these, right? They're usually lacking, and then because for a lot of us, or for a lot of people, right, I'm hoping this isn't you, or it might have been at some stage, right, for a lot of us, if we are, noticing that we're deficient in something and we hit up old mate GP and he says, right, cool, you're deficient in iron, or you're deficient in vitamin C, or deficient in this or whatever, we usually head to old mate Chemist Warehouse or the equivalent, right, to be able to get some bargain pills that we can use. And obviously the pills are then there, and it says on the label for what we need to take, and Bob's your uncle. So we usually see it as a quick fix, but to be honest, what's basically happening is this is band-aiding the underlying solution. The underlying problem, right? Because it's in essence like when you are taking this artificial stuff, right? What's basically going on is your body recognizes what's called bioavailable, right? So take note of this, bioavailable. So this is kind of like the real stuff that's in wholesome fruits and veggies and stuff like that. But when you have like these sort of pills or whatever, right, understand that these are synthetic and they're also isolated, right? So what that then means is that your cells and stuff like that, they don't actually recognize. They're just like, what, mate? Like, when they're kind of just like checking it out, and therefore it will more often than not result in you peeing out nutrients. This is why you probably noticed that I haven't gotten you to go and get like, a multivitamin pill or anything like that, and just encourage to increase your intake of fiber and start to include more different fruits and vegetables. So it's like by being deficient in your fruits and veggies intake, this will mean that you're deficient in your overall vitamins and minerals, and people naturally turn for the quick fix, which is what leads to them struggling with this problem ongoing, right? So vitamins and minerals are all important, right? They all play their part in making sure that you are healthy as fuck as you go about this journey of getting lean. But it's also important to understand that too much of it, in other words, like say for example for guys, usually 35 to 40 grams is solid, right? Whereas for chicks, it's around the 20 to 25-ish or so mark is usually sufficient, right? If you're getting in way too much, you're going to start to notice negative effects because your body can only process so much fiber, and you'll start tooting like an absolute champion in terms of farting, right? And getting wind. You'll probably notice as well that you're feeling just way too full, and it's a struggle to actually hit your calories, right? So struggle to hit calories. And what you'll also find, right, is that you're probably going to likely start to crave more and more things like chocolate and just the YOLO sort of foods. And therefore what I usually see is that, well, people then start to have YOLO days and isolate themselves from coaching and all this sort of stuff, and it just doesn't equal well. So the thing here to note is just that we're all about balance, right? As it comes to an approach like this, we want to make sure that obviously we're consciously aware of eating lots of fruits and veg, and naturally, like, it doesn't take up too much of your intake, to be honest, right? Because as you probably noticed, fruits and vegetables, because they're so nutrient dense, they're actually not loaded with calories. So therefore, it's really cool to be able to load up with them and not have a massive amount of your calories blown to be able to get in enough fiber and stuff that you need, right? But understand as well that it's like if you, say for example, try and approach your your approach to flexible dieting and stuff like that, that it's just like, fuck yeah, awesome. It's as if you've got, like a huge huge stack of cash, right? And how do you draw a stack of cash, right? So stack of cash, awesome, right? So like you got a big stack of cash that you've got every single day, and that you can load up on what you want, right? Yes, to an extent that's true, right? But the thing is that if you utilize that intake on solely YOLO foods / processed stuff, and you know what I mean, like are getting in such a shit intake of fiber, well, yes, that means that from aesthetics point of view, right, you can be losing body fat and stuff like that, right? But what's going to happen is you're going to struggle to be able to improve in your lifting performance and in your calorie burning and stuff like that, meaning that it will only work for so long that this is the case before this then also becomes a cross, because your calorie balance and like in terms of your thermodynamics will be out of whack, and what you're also going to experience is you'll feel lethargic, because you can't perform and function well as a human by having no nutrients and no micronutrients and fiber in your system, right? We literally need it. So this is why we want to make sure that we're devoting 70% of our intake to fiber / like just hashtag clean foods and whatever, so that way we're feeling like a fucking champion, right? We're feeling fucking awesome, right? And then that way what it's going to then mean is that you're feeling fantastic, you've got energy throughout your day, all of these health benefits and stuff we spoke about are all in check, and then it means that you have that remaining 30% to use on those YOLO foods and remain healthy as fuck. So it's like when you see me post on social media sort of stuff that I'm eating, right, like here and there I am, fasting for a whole day so that I can fit in a fucking huge pizza or a massive burger, shake and whatever feed, right? But what's consistent though is that, like, well, I don't do it all the time, I do it here and there. I am consistent with my calorie intake, and 9 times out of 10 I'm always getting in enough fiber, right? So I really hope you enjoyed this video. What I'd love for you to do is to head into the Alpha group, make a post, tag me in it, and share your biggest learnings in terms of what you've learned about fiber and the importance of vitamins and minerals in keeping you healthy. I'd really love to hear. And then I'll see you in our next content video next week. You have an awesome rest of your day. Fucking smash it. Catch you soon.